Hey y'all, it's Austin here, coming at you guys with quite a special video today. I've got my 2018 Ford F150 with the 3.5 liter Ecoboost engine here in front of me. We have quite a few mods on the truck already, from cosmetic to performance, but today we have a new performance modification for the truck that will tie in with my side exit exhaust perfectly, raising the horsepower, making the truck louder, and the last piece of the puzzle before she is off to be dyno tuned this weekend. Here she is, my new Catless downpipes and turbo adapters made from the one and only CVFabrication. Now I'm in Ontario, Canada, and these arrived at my door within the week, so super fast shipping and super easy to deal with them. Unbelievable work done by them, from the welds to little details with their logos tacked on and engraved. Today I'll be showing you guys how to install these CVFabrication Catless downpipes and turbo adapters, and at the end of the video I will give you guys some sound clips before and after the dyno tune. Alright, so I got everything all unwrapped here. Beautiful, beautiful stainless steel downpipes. CVFabrication makes lots of performance parts for your Ford and Lincoln vehicles, from cold air intakes for your Mustang, intercoolers and charge pipes for your Ford Focus ST, downpipes, etc. If you want performance parts for your Ford or Lincoln, go visit CVFabrication. If you would like to save some money, you can use my promo code found on screen here, or I'm also going to put it in the description, and as well as my reference link, and you guys can save yourself a bit of cash. The truck's all up on the lift there. I want to give a big shout out to my boy Ryan, who's working under the truck there and pretty much does all the work on my truck today, allowing me to film this video for you guys. And I want to give a big shout out to KW Auto Works, allowing me to use their lift in their shop and install these parts. So just giving you guys a detailed overview of everything we've got. Obviously we got the CVFabrication downpipes in front of us here. Beautiful, beautiful. On the right we got the two turbo adapters, and in that little bag we got two plugs for your O2 ports, just in case you guys aren't getting tuned after and you don't want that check engine light on there, obviously. And in these bags here we got some OEM Ford hardware that you can purchase on CVFabrication's website. We got nuts, studs, gaskets. You're going to want to replace all of that. Just a quick disclaimer, you don't need a lift or a shop to do this job, but if you do have a lift, it does make it go by easier, but it can be done in your driveway with a set of jack stands. Starting out here though with the removal process, you're going to want to pull back both your wheel well liners on both the driver and passenger side, just a 7mm bolt and a couple of retaining clips. That gives us access to the turbos and downpipes here, as you can see. You can see both the studs there and both the nuts holding on my downpipes to the turbos. After gaining access, Ryan came in here with the torch just to heat up those nuts and those studs, because they have been hot and cold 1,000 times since they're on your exhaust, so you're going to want to heat those up so you can spin it off with the impact. After gaining access to both those turbos, me and Ryan made our way to the end of my downpipes here where it connects to my side exit exhaust. We're going to be removing those two nuts and bolts there, both 15mm. You're just going to need an impact and a wrench, and those will come right off. Just gun those off. Came off with these. Downpipes are no longer connected to my exhaust, so it won't be straining on it. Then we started taking a little bit of heat to this exhaust clamp here, connecting the midsection to the driver's side cat. The nut and the bolt were spinning, so we heated that up a little bit. Just cut that bolt. Pried it open. Hit it off with a hammer. A little bit more messing around with the pry bar, and that clamp came right off. This allowed us to disconnect the driver's side cat. I didn't film it, but we did disconnect the cat from the turbo. Now we're messing around with the rest of the downpipe, seeing if we can get it out without taking out the cross member there, but we soon quickly realized you will have to take out that cross member. Now we just grabbed the tranny stand there to support the transmission as an extra support where we take out the cross member. Ryan's seen over there just taking out a 10mm bolt off the heat shield. That's right underneath that downpipe. So we just put that on the ground. And you're also going to see that there's going to be a wire running across your cross member here. Two 10mm bolts. One there. And there's another one right there. and that will allow us access to those two 19mm bolts, 2 on either side, and then there's also 2 right in the middle of the cross member in that little slot. Now we're just trying to pull that cross member out, but we just quickly realized we just left the 10mm bolts on the left side. There's a little heat shield there, so you'll see here soon. And there's Ryan grabbing that 10mm bolt. There's just that heat shield that's connected to your cross member right there. Make sure you don't forget that little 10mm bolt up there. After getting that last little 10mm, we're able to work out our cross member, and pops right out. Just set that down now, and you should be able to get out your downpipe. After working it a bit and a little bit of finesse, we were able to get the remaining downpipe and cat out. I just put it back together there to show you guys what it looks like. That's what your downpipes look like up there. So goodbye cats, don't need you guys anymore. And we have a big open space straight back to our exhaust now for our new downpipes. But first things first, we still have to remove our turbo adapters. So there's one turbo adapter on your driver's side turbo and one turbo adapter on your passenger side turbo. It's just being held on with those studs there, so as you can see, we got direct access there to our turbos. Passenger side right there, driver's side right there. So we're gonna have to get those turbo adapters off, and once we get those off, we'll be ready to do the install. And just real quickly, this is actually a turbo off an Ecoboost. This is how small they are. Just a little itty bitty turbo. This is what's on your Ford F150. Pretty cool. Anyways, back to my truck. Now we're getting off the turbo adapters, so we're heating up those studs there because they will have to be heated up just like the nuts when we were taking off the downpipes. We're gonna have to heat those studs up just so we can remove those turbo adapters, and it will make it much easier when we are gunning them off. Then we came at it with the air hammer a little bit just to give it a little bit more persuasion. Just using the air hammer right by the studs there on the turbo adapters just to help free them up a little bit. Get a little bit of vibration and heat on there helps knock any corrosion or debris out. And after that, we were able to gun the stud right out. So that was one there, that was that top one. And then we're just gunning out that bottom stud there, and turbo adapters right off. Forgot to film it, but we got the other turbo adapter off. Now Ryan is seen just cleaning the surface of the turbos there where the turbo adapters were sitting, getting any leftover gasket or debris off, just cleaning that off with a razor blade there. You're going to want to do the passenger and driver's side obviously, and make sure you have a nice clean surface for when you put your new turbo adapters on. After we just finished cleaning the surface there, we are just threading in the new studs, gasket, and turbo adapter there. Just threading them in by hand. So as you can see behind the turbo there, we got the gasket. When tightening down the turbo adapter, it's important to mention you want to make sure your gasket is sitting right on there. And after that, we are just coming at it here with the wrench now and tightening down those turbo adapters. Boom, bada bang. That's the passenger side turbo adapter in. There's a comparison between the turbo adapters here. We got the CVF turbo adapter on the left and the stock one on the right. The bore is much larger on the CVF turbo adapter, and that's going to give us the whistle that we want. Moving on to the last and final turbo adapter on the driver's side here, we're just snugging this one up. And after we snug this last turbo adapter up, we'll be able to go ahead and install our downpipes. Now moving on to the rest of the install here, we're able to hook up the passenger side downpipe, just threading it on by hand. We're just getting it fitted up. As you can see here, we got the new passenger downpipe just sitting in there right now. Moving on over to the driver's side, we got the driver's side downpipe now hooked up. Once again, just threaded in by hand, not snugged up. Now, once you got both sides finger tight there, you're going to want to work on the midsection here. You got that exhaust clamp right there. We're going to use this tranny jack here just to help support it a little bit and help us put this downpipe together. Now we're just working the new one a bit, making sure the clamp's sitting in the right spot, making sure everything's sitting nicely. Just finagling around with the new one a bit, making sure the fitment is all good, getting the clamps where they need to be. Now we got the new CVFabrication Catless downpipe all loosely together here. Everything has just got to be tightened up here now. We just wanted to get it sitting right. Now Ryan is seen doing up the first connection here between my exhaust and my downpipes. That is the first one we tightened up. We just used a pair of vice grips and the electric ratchet here, got it all tight. And then we just grabbed a rag here and wiped down the downpipes quickly because they are stainless and any fingerprints will be left in the stainless once it gets heated. Now we're just tightening up those two exhaust clamps that connect the midsections to the downpipes that go to the turbos. Got that clamp right there and that clamp right there. Once both those are snugged up, we can make our way up to the turbos. Okay, up at the driver's side turbo here, we're just tightening down that top stud. Now we're just going around making sure all our connections are tight, making sure the driver's side studs are tight. Making our way to the passenger side turbo, making sure both those studs are tight, top and bottom. You don't want to have any exhaust leaks. Once you have the downpipes right tight to your turbos, you can go ahead and start installing your O2 sensors. As you can see there, we started with the upstream sensors as they are the first sensors on your downpipes. You got bank 2 on your driver's side installed there. And then on the passenger side, we got the bank 1 upstream sensor installed. Once you have both your upstream O2 sensors in, the ones closest to your turbos, and tight with a wrench, we can start working on the driver side downstream and passenger side downstream O2 sensors. Just like the upstream O2 sensors we just installed, we have to remove both our downstream sensors as well from our old stock downpipes. These downstream sensors were a little more stubborn and required some heat. Another tip is to spray a bit of penetrating fluid on them and let it sit for a bit and then proceed to crack it loose with a wrench. A quick disclaimer, I'm only installing my O2 sensors because this truck will be getting tuned after. If you are not getting tuned, you will have to use those bypass plugs CVFabrication supplies in that little bag I showed you at the beginning of the video. Once you have all 4 O2 sensors in, you can go ahead and throw your cross member back up there. We started putting together those two 19mm bolts on the right side here, and the other two on the left side. After getting those 4 cross-member bolts tightened up, we made our way to the middle to tighten up these last 2 cross-member bolts in that slot right there. Once you get all 6 19mm bolts tightened down on your cross-member there, you can start messing around with the heat shield on the right side and the left side, making sure you get them in place so you can get those 10mm bolts in, and then you can get that wire in place with those 2 10mm bolts as well and get everything dialed in. After getting everything dialed in on your cross member, that's it for the install for the CVFabrication Catless downpipes and turbo adapters. Now, before we get to hear how this thing sounds, my truck is also due for an oil change, so I'm just getting her a fresh drink before she is off to be dyno tuned. Now, I'd just like to interrupt this video to thank CVFabrication for making any of this possible. This video wouldn't be possible without them. If you guys want performance parts for your Ford Mustang, your Ford Focus, Ford Explorer, your Ford F150, your Lincoln Aviator, go visit the link in the description below and get yourself some performance parts for your vehicle today. Just finishing up this oil change here now, removing the old filter. Drain plugs tightened up. New oil filter is on. Wheel well liner clip back in. 7mm back in, retaining clips back in. Filling her up with some fresh liquid moly 5W30 synthetic oil, and we're ready for our first startup. here are the results from the dyno. We made 343 wheel horsepower on 83 Octane and 426 wheel horsepower on 93 Octane. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe. And if you guys want any parts for your Ford or Lincoln vehicles, make sure to go see CVFabrication.com and use my promo code in the description.